What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we are going to talk about Social Security and all the issues that are currently surrounding it. One of the big ones is that the cost of living adjustment for 2024 is only going to be 3.2%. However, some people say that's not enough, and it's not enough because current inflation is sitting at 3.7%, which means they are already falling behind. However, there is a pretty large group of people that say the 3.2% cost of living adjustment for 2024 is actually going to bring more problems, not less. And I will address that in just a minute. We're going to talk about what is currently happening within the House of Representatives regarding the Speaker of the House who could potentially be chosen. And this new person is actually somebody that has one of the most supported bills within Congress at this time, and it's for Social Security recipients. So that could be good news. So make sure you stick around for this entire video, and I'll explain exactly what is going on. So let's get started. So before I dive into who may be the next Speaker of the House and why this is very important for Social Security recipients, let's first talk about the cost of living adjustment for 2024. Like I said, it's 3.2%. This has already been confirmed by the Social Security Administration. Now, one thing that you need to understand when it comes to the cost of living adjustment for 2024 is that this is actually going to cost billions and billions of dollars in additional funding from the Social Security Administration. According to the recent report, the Social Security Administration says that additional payments to Social Security benefits would be about $47 billion because of the 3.2% cost of living adjustment. That's big. Okay, that's an additional $47 billion that they knew they were going to have to pay something for a cost of living adjustment. They didn't know exactly how much. Now, is this going to cause the Social Security Trust Fund to become insolvent any sooner? As of right now, the answer is no, but it also depends what's going to happen next year and the year after. If we continue to see inflation up over 3% and the cost of living adjustment is up over 3% as well, then yes. According to reports, the Social Security Trust Fund would become insolvent not in 2034, but potentially in 2032 or 2033. So again, like 9-10 years away. So we'll see what happens there. Now, one thing I can tell you is that lawmakers are trying to come up with a way for an either-or type of path. So the first thing is, let's either increase benefits, okay? That would be easy. That would, well, I don't want to say easy, but it's simple. You just get enough votes, you pass it. Is it going to be easy to do? Absolutely not, because of the legislation, the verbiage. How do they word it? What I can tell you is that there's many lawmakers that still say we need to increase benefits to Social Security recipients because they are struggling. They do not know where their next meal is coming from, how they're going to pay for their apartment or their home, how they're going to pay for transportation, right? Simple things, medication, because their Social Security benefits do not cover everything that they need. So many lawmakers are under that is the best option, is let's increase benefits. The problem is, how do we do that? How do we increase benefits? Do we go and increase benefits by taxing millionaires and billionaires? Do we tax the large corporations? Do we increase our Social Security tax cap? What do we do? Well, that's one train of thought. The other train of thought, which is very different, is no, we are not going to touch benefits. We are not going to increase them 1 cent outside of the cost of living adjustment. Instead, what we can do is we can actually, change some of the expenses. One of the big ones is to reduce or eliminate the Social Security benefits tax. This means and again, this is a big issue. Right now, there's millions of people that are worried that the 3.2% cost of living adjustment may have just triggered taxes for them, because that could potentially push them up over that limit of, for an individual, $25,000 per year, or for a couple, $32,000 per year. You make over that, now you have to pay taxes. and up to 85%. So that's a big, big deal right there. One thing that I was reading just the other day says 85% of Social Security benefits can be taxable when income exceeds certain thresholds. Okay. But unlike other parts of the federal income tax code, the income thresholds that subject Social Security benefits to taxation have never been adjusted for inflation. And they haven't. If you remember, I talked about this a couple years ago. I said, if you make over $25,000 per year, you will have to pay taxes as an individual. Well, same thing last year. You make over $25,000, you will have to pay taxes. Same thing in 2024. Make over $25,000 per year, you will have to pay taxes. Well, that's not adjusted for inflation. I believe the number is in the upper 40s. So you make like $47,000, $48,000, then you would have to pay taxes. As of right now, you wouldn't. So, this brings me to the next point. And this is who could potentially be the next Speaker of the House and how are they going to impact Social Security? Well, let's look at this. It says the House adjourns in disarray as support for Representative Jim Jordan looks weaker than expected. This was from Friday. Now, what we found out is that Representative Jim Jordan, okay, in a vote, he got 124 votes. It's about 100 votes away from what he needs. He needs 217 votes in order to be chosen as the next Speaker of the House. However, he didn't get that. He got 124, and another representative, Austin Scott, who's a Republican out of Georgia, he actually got 81 votes. Again, long ways away. But according to Democrats, they refuse to work with the Republican Party if they are trying to bring in Representative Jim Jordan because they say, and this is their quote, he is an insurrectionist. So they do not want him. Which means the Democrats are not going to jump in and support Representative Jim Jordan. So Republicans will have to choose somebody else and have to choose somebody that will potentially be work in a bipartisan manner. As of right now, Democrats do not want somebody that's just going to lean to the Republican side, even though they will be a Republican. Now, here's something that we did learn on Friday as well, is that a small group of House Republicans, House Democrats, they offered a deal to expand the Speaker pro tempore Patrick McHenry's speakership and his powers so that he could potentially do something. According to it's a letter by Representative Josh Gottheimer. Okay, he's out of New Jersey. He's a Democrat out of New Jersey. He said, and I quote, "In light of our nation's pressing issues, a looming government shutdown, and the attacks on our key ally Israel, we strongly support an immediate vote to expand the Speaker pro tempore's authorities to allow for the consideration of legislative agenda limited to the most pressing issues." So what they're saying is right now that we are stuck in limbo. We cannot vote on bills because we don't have a Speaker of the House. Let's increase the authority of the Speaker pro tempore. And by doing so, he can bring stuff to the House floor that can be voted on, whether it's the government funding bill, whether it's funding for Israel, maybe Ukraine, whatever. And so without additional authority, he cannot do that. But that brings me to the next thing. Look at this. This is from yesterday. It says Representative Mike Johnson plans to launch House Speaker bid if Jim Jordan falters. I can tell you right now, Jim Jordan is faltering. He was not one that we really thought was going to have a chance. He had the best chance after Steve Scalise, bowed out. But at the same time, there's a lot of lawmakers that would be good options, but they don't want to run. They do not want to be Speaker of the House because the same thing could happen where they could be ousted simply because a small group of people decided that they're not really Republicans. They're potentially just rhinos. The Republican in name only. Now, it says in this thing by Yahoo News, it says another Republican is prepared to throw his hat in the ring if GOP nominee Jim Jordan stumbles in his quest for the House Speaker's gavel, which he already has. It says Representative Mike Johnson A member of the GOP leadership team plans to jump into the race if Jordan can't secure the 217 votes needed on the House floor. If Jordan cannot get to 217, Johnson tends to step up, the source says. Many members are asking him to. Now, what would this mean for Social Security? What would this mean for the American people? Well, here's what we know. Representative Mike Johnson, he has actually supported many different bills. One of the ones that he's supporting right now, okay, let me pull this up right here, is the Social Security Fairness Act. It's this one, Social Security Fairness Act of 2023. In this bill, you see it right here, which has the third most co-sponsors of any bill currently introduced in the U.S. House, would repeal both the WEP, okay? This is just to give you an idea, the WEP stands for the Windfall Elimination Provision. I will address that in just a second. And the GPO, all right? The two provisions of the Social Security Act that unfairly reduce or eliminate Social Security benefits for millions of Americans who have devoted much of their careers to public service. Now, told you what the WEP is. The GPO is the government pension offset. Okay, I want to pull up this thing, kind of just explain what this is. All right, so here it is. It says the Windfall Elimination Provision. The WEP, enacted in 1982, reduces the Social Security benefits of retired public employees, federal, state, and local, who also worked in Social Security-covered private sector employment if they received a government annuity for their non-Social Security-covered government employment. This provision hits CSRS retirees directly. In all, nearly 2 million Americans have been adversely affected by the WEP provisions, a number that will grow as more CSRS employees retire. Okay? So, simply put, they are trying to eliminate or repeal the windfall elimination provision so that these people that have worked in, in the private sector as well, that they will get their benefits increased. That's essentially what it is, just increasing benefits. So this right here is something that, yes, it would increase benefits. It's a big deal, right? The other one is a government pension offset. It says normally survivors and spouses of Social Security benefits qualify for spousal and survival benefits based on the earnings and benefits of their spouses, unless the quality for greater benefits based on their own Social Security earnings history. For CSRS letter carriers with little or no private sector work experience, such spousal and survivor benefits from Social Security would be significant, since their own Social Security benefits would be minimal. The same grossly unfair impact is seen with Social Security survivor benefits. Again, Social Security recipients who receive private pensions see no reduction in their Social Security spousal or survival benefits. So again, if you're getting benefits elsewhere, should you be penalized because of that? Because of where you worked previously, because of a pension that you may have? This is what Representative Mike Johnson says, no, absolutely not. Again, he's one of several people that are co-sponsoring this Social Security Fairness Act of 2023. And I bring this up because what we've seen, and I've talked about this with Steve Scalise, I talked about this with Representative Jim Jordan as well, their stance on Social Security. Representative Jim Jordan wants to see that Social Security does not become insolvent in 10 years. Wants to ensure that Social Security is going to be there in 20, 30, 40, and 50 years. But is he doing anything to really promote that? Not really. On the other hand, Representative Mike Johnson here, he is. He is putting pen to paper, and this is a bipartisan bill to eliminate or repeal the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. Okay, there's 290 co-sponsors just in the U.S. House of Representatives. 290. That's more than enough. So we're going to see what happens moving forward, but what I can tell you is that lawmakers are under the impression that we need additional benefits to Social Security to ensure that elderly people are getting what they need. The problem is, how do we do it? And who's going to be the one backing it? who's going to bring it to the House floor. As of right now, we just don't know. So, as we get more information, I promise I'll bring you up to date on all the latest news and updates. Again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.